A few weeks ago, the Pleiades Armory Deck hit the stage for its debut show, loud and ready to rock out. But tonight, it's back for its encore. So let's get ready to headbang to a good time. Even more so, since we have a special guest with us tonight. But first, I'm Will.
I'm Evan.
And I'm Ning.
And Evan, why don't you go ahead and introduce our special guest with us?
Oh man, this of course is our buddy Justin, famous for he's part of the Siblings in Cardboard Podcast. Check him out; they're good folks, and more importantly, very very good player in the local scene. Plenty of day twos, plenty of top eights in big events, and the best Kano player, especially in the mirror in the world. So
yeah, I'll take the mirror. I'll take the Kano mirror. I'm not the best Kano player, but I will take the mirror.
I mean, if you can beat every other Kano, then you're the best Kano player.
Transitive property right there.
Transitive property right there.
Does a transitive property? Okay, there we go. Sorry, yeah, I'm just like looking at the screen. I was like, oh no, I disappeared. But yeah, that's me. I'm Justin.
Yeah, you want to maybe give us a little background about how you started Flesh and Blood?
Yeah, I always like to say, what's your origin story? Are you hero, villain, and how did you become as great as you are?
Well, great to compliment these days, but the origin story is a little weird. I don't think it's very typical for nerds and card games and stuff like that. I played lacrosse and I played pro and all that kind of stuff. And then COVID happened. And basically I was given the choice of playing in the league or not, and I chose not to because of stuff. I realized I needed a competitive outlet. One of my good buddies, he's a nerd. He was like, you'd really enjoy card games. So I picked up Legends of Runeterra. I met some guy named Majin Bay there. Don't know whoever he is.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, exactly. We were doing a seasonals prep for that. I finished. Everybody said what they're going to go do. He's like, I'm going to go play Flesh and Blood. And I said, what's Flesh and Blood? So here we are.
Wow. Dang. So I know you also bubbled 2 callings near the top 8. Mm-hmm. You top 8 in almost every Road to Nationals you entered, if all of them, and then you're right. Pretty much a consistent day 2, 75% of the time.
Yeah, my first ever. So like not knowing how card games work, it's a fun story. I actually was playing my win and in for top 8 for the first ever calling that I went to.
Oh wow!
And I'm playing. This is the old days, so we're going to date myself a bit here. I was playing Viscerai into Starvo, and I had 26 rune chants on the board. I had Sonata in Arsenal, and I had Skeleta up, which if like you know what that means I won the game. Mm-hmm. But I had to catch a flight in 3 hours, and I didn't know that you could make top 8 and then immediately concede. I thought if you made top 8, you had to play it out. So... And this was back before you were allowed to like scoop. Like you had to like every game of Flesh and Blood had to come to a logical conclusion. So I passed for 6 turns while this guy killed me.
Oh,
that's so funny.
Oh my god.
And then I told my buddies who were with me at the time, I was just like, hey, they're like, how'd your game go? Did you make it in? I was like, no, I have a flight. What are you talking about? And then they explained to me that I could have won. And then
left.
Yeah, and then left. So I would be
just
PTI.
In our
could have been 1 PTI, gold foil, and lots
more. Man, what a fantastic origin story, though! Like that's fantastic, man.
Yeah, but so I started playing card games in 2020.
Yeah,
and here we are now.
That's fantastic.
Very cool.
And a nice segue because you're competitive play, being the champion at your circuit, and then all that. And today we went to a Pro Quest. So, guys, what did we learn since last week? Now, Justin. Usually when our guests come on, we always have them go at the end so they kind of see how this happens, but we always do this kind of learning journey that we do every week. So, Evan, do you want to start us off, and then we'll go Ning and me?
Yeah, I'll start us off. And I'm already going to say right now, Will, please add time codes so people can take a look at the deck. So if you want to skip all the preamble, you can skip right ahead to the deck, because we're going to talk about this for a bit, because we had a Pro Quest, and this Pro Quest was insane. Yeah, so I guess first off, long story short, I ended up getting 2nd place. Our buddy Jeremy, who was on the Illusionist episode, he and I were in the finals. He really wanted the PTI, so he took the PTI and I ended up taking the gold foil. So
Very nice.
I got it here with me right here. I opened the one card that I wanted to, all right? And that is Bunker Beard.
Hey.
The least expensive gold foil you could ever open, but it's really funny
Amazing.
and stupid. So the entire time I was just like, I really hope I open Bunker Beard.
It's so funny because like Ning was like, "Oh, I like the unicycle." It's like that's a common, right? You wanted the bunker beard. I was like, "Okay." And we asked Evan, we're like, "Just buy it. It's got to be like $50, right?" He was like, "No, I want to earn it.
I want to earn it," and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
earned it.
That's
so
so funny.
it's just this is my first gold foil as well. So
Yeah, that's
I'm,
great.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm very
nice.
happy it's Bunker Beard, and it's gonna be bad, but I'm gonna try to figure out how to put it in some kind.
No, what all that means is you're going to win some Silver Age battle hardened calling whatever, and then
That'd be fun.
Bunker Beard will be
Yeah. There were plenty of crazy games. I know, and I'll let you talk about it, but I ended up my final record, if you ignore the fact that I lost to Jeremy because we didn't actually play it out. I lost one game to Chris on Kasai, banned draw swords, but all the other games I managed to win. Played a wide variety of different decks. I won 2 Syndramirs, so that was scary, but also
So you're the best of the
pretty
Syndras?
cool.
Cough, cough, Jose. I'm just joking.
I mean, I did beat
Oh,
Jose.
snap.
Yeah, so Jose also he top 4'd actually, so he did super well as well. So happy for him as well. But
Unfortunately, spoiler alert, Justin, he did team kill Tommy from Siblings and Cardboard on his RKO deck. So
yeah.
He's revived.
Thomas
so
brought
we don't
Thomas
forgive him.
brought RKO, and it just looks so cool every time I see it. If for those
It
of
was
you,
not
it's
cool. No, it was mean. He was a big bully.
Wait, you don't like getting
Round
damage
one.
fatigued?
That's a
Round
tough
one, I was playing poor old Puffin, and he just kept big bullying me.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
mean,
good.
it's yeah. Well, I can chat about it when it's my turn, but anyway, I'm not traumatized. You're traumatized.
I guess a shameless plug, of course. Thomas was here last week talking about his RKO list. He top 8'd with it again, so if you are interested in RKO, go check it out. But yeah, that's it on my end. So I'll probably put this on the shelf right next to Trevor's photo. So
Very nice.
very
Very
cool.
nice.
I'll let Will.
At some
I'll let
point, you need to do some alt art to put Trevor like in the Bunker Beard.
Oh, I like that.
I could do that. We could
Get
put like a little
like
top loader with his face on it, and then you just kind of cover the bunker beard with that. I could do that.
Hell yeah. But
little
yeah,
shadow art action. What did I learn today? I learned that what the funny part is. Thomas taught us how do you beat RKO. I clearly did not take that to heart, whatever that answer was.
As Puffin.
But as Puffin.
As Puffin.
I don't
As
know.
Puffin, I think it's just meet them in the parking lot and like steal their cards.
And get bullied.
Yeah.
No, you become the bully because you're the one in the parking lot doing mean things.
Yeah, if you just break their shins in the parking lot, they no show.
You can't make it to the event. It's fine.
That's I
then
should
you're
have
the
thought
true
about
reviled hero.
the bully
that's just a
tactics.
tough
I didn't have that in my sideboard.
Yeah.
How did the other games?
The other games went okay. So my second game was against Mason's Verdance, and I went AB0, which is a good time. And I almost got there, but then he had like perfect amount of arcane damage at the end with the Storm Striders. Otherwise, if he did not get it, then I would have won kind of situation. So that was really close. After that, Gravy Bone's a new player that went okay. And then after that, who is the fourth person? Rob with his Jarl. Fatigue Jarl is scary. I
his
hate
Jarl's
that
ice.
Justin,
ice Jarl.
Yeah.
He wasn't there for he wasn't there. He was there for a long time and a fun time on his end.
He borrowed a lot of cards.
Yeah.
So I knew what was coming for you guys, and I had to be quiet about it. And yeah, you guys had fun.
I'm glad I dodged him.
Yeah.
got destroyed.
I got it, but like, man, the amount of heals and all the things in that deck was rough. The only big thing that I did was he blocked with his Rampart Shield, and after that, I just tiered it on the chain after, and then just destroyed it retroactively. So that was nice. And then after that, there was a Syndra match where I felt like I could have won, but I lost by like one card. And I think that is a lesson in itself, where I feel like as Puffin, running Balance of Justice and Adaptive Plating instead of Crown of Providence and Unicycle would have been a lot more meaningful. I was 2-3 this PQ, but I think it's a lot more just not having as much experience into specific matchups, or any matchups really, because I haven't really had much time to play. But it was good learning.
Yeah,
That's good.
Surprising how many programmers, accountants have so many busy year ends when it's come to the year end, right?
Yeah.
And I speak to 3 of the 4. Actually, I'm busy too, but we know how that goes. I can't say it on the cast, but
don't be an accountant, guys. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's
just play Flesh and Blood.
But now, Will, we get to talk about how you did at the ProQuest, because we get to talk about a fun game.
So I learned a lot this week. First off, thanks to Ning for showing me how Talishar worked last week. And ever since then, I've been nonstop playing it, right? Because I was like every day trying to get a game in. But I still wasn't settled on a deck, because I was waffling on Florian. And the reason why I didn't play Florian is because I was playing Rob's Jarl. And we went an hour and 15 minutes, and I still lost the end game. I was like, that's not fun. I'm not bringing it. So I brought KO Armed and Dangerous, because he used to be my other brute player after I skipped from Reinar. I felt comfortable on him. He was like just like an old jacket that kind of fit right. Changed a few things, and Justin, taking everything to heart what you guys said, I'll give a shout out to the Runaways on this one, because they play beaten trackers, not scab skins, right? And I was like, well, I have hands that itch to roll dice, and so I would roll scab skins and just lose the game. I would roll scab skins when there's no need for it. I would see a line, and all I would see is scab skins line. So take it out. It's outside of the equation. Don't bring the card. And guess what? Top 8. So since that, I've been bugging, Jose on how to beat his Syndra, right? And I still have yet to win a game against him. But I felt better because all the games we grinded out was actually helping me to prepare for the PQ. And then I played Gravy Bones a couple times, and I fat thumbed the X, and this is during my lunch break at work. So thanks out to Paul, who, again, noticed that there's a common thread here. These are all our top 8 players. And then so I squeaked in, but really, there was a couple tough matchups, because I didn't know Slippy could do the Blood Rot on the Flick Knives and on the Kiss of Death thing. So I got double Blood Rotted I had 4 Blood Rot tokens at one time. I had a Blood Rush turn, and Jeff Slippy, a local player, was able to do a Blood Rush amount of damage in that short of span with that. So that was something I learned during the PQ. So we go through this whole thing. I play RKO's, Tommy's RKO, right? And the only way I got that was because I got the life lead. Then Jeremy kicked my butt so bad, and I'll let him tell you how I pulled the victory out. And then we get the top 8 cut. I'm happy because I get to swing big, right? And I was like, okay, we're doing the whole who's first seat, last seat pairing, and then they call it. I'm like, oh shit, I'm fighting Evan, right? Who's on Syndra, and I'm on Armed and Dangerous KO. So since he's better seat than me, he gets to choose who goes first or second. Justin, does Syndra want to go first or second against KO?
Probably want to go. Oh man, there's good arguments for both.
Yeah.
Please say what I actually chose. I'm going to be very upset.
Well, I don't play either of these decks, so
Okay.
I guess that's the issue there.
So how about?
Hold on, let me think through this. Okay, so Syndra going first, you're going to leak 3 to 6 damage. You probably still get to keep an arsenal. Going second, you get to keep 10, and you get the first 5-card hand. Did you go first?
I went second.
But
okay.
Here's the thing, because Evan knows the matchup percentages switches from KO's favorite going second to Syndra's favorite going second, right? Against KO specifically,
That makes sense.
right? Because of the tempo, like you were saying, she gets drop her hearts. My first turn, I knew I had to, it's Evan, so I had to kind of bleed an advantage. So I pulled my hearts. I'm like, okay, I'm going to obviously do not the best play, but a play that should help bleed out that damage because when he comes back, it slaps hard. I want us to be at least kind of equal life. I Blood Rush spell a turn 0. And then I proceeded to do 20 points of damage to Evan, but it cost me my beaten trackers, right, to get the action point back so I can continue on. Not the ideal
Yeah, that
play
was really
because
scary. I literally was at 30 after turn 0.
That good.
well,
Yeah,
it's
and
good
I
for
blocked
me.
with my full hand.
Okay.
I even
And
had a
he-
D-react in hand, so it wasn't like my hand blocked poorly. It was just a good turn.
And then he proceeded to block with his boots on turn 0 too. So I got that, which I was okay with because it stays in place, the Dragon Scalers. So we proceed to go back and forth. It's a very tight game, right? I eventually get tempo, right? We're to the point where Evan couldn't buy his both daggers back, right? And I was putting pressure on, ripping cards from his hand because of the card that when it hits, they have to discard unless they show you a power. That
Don't
card,
survive. Yep.
yep, strongest survives. Absolutely was winning the game for me there. And there was a turn where I kept on blocking with the Clash Vigor token generator on the Brute one, a Vigorous Smash Up. And I was able to play Pulping for free on my turn. Beautiful. And block out Syndra. So really going well. Then it gets to the very last time. I draw 4 cards. Right. One is a Blood Rush Bellow, 2 blues, and then all 3 blocks, right? He proceeds to start ripping cards from my hand, and I think what happens at the end, he flicks the dagger, brings me down to 1 life, passes the turn to me, right? And I look down, I'm going to do Wild Ride Red with the Might
No.
token. I do it blindly from the top, and I lose top 8 to the most brute way possible, which is
Discard Beast with it, yeah.
Brute giveth, brute taketh. I can't play
Dude.
brute.
I loved it because I just put my head down like this. Because it
The
happens,
so
right?
entire
funny.
time, I start the game at 30 life. I'm like, I am losing this. And I come back and I'm like, oh, I got so close. And then the Beast Within happened, and I said, oh, that's pretty good.
And the thing,
You were meant to have the bunker beard. There was no one else
I
who could
was
have had that
meant to
bunker
have
beard.
the bunker beard.
I looked-
It knew who it wanted
Yes.
to do.
It
If anybody
called
else
him.
would have gotten it, it's wrong.
dude, I looked at Evan. I was like, "Am I at 2 life?" He was like, "No, man, I flicked it. You're at 1 life." And I looked at the Beast Within. I was like, "Damn, what a brute way to go."
Well, that was especially funny because I flicked my final dagger. I had no way to bring them back, and I was
Yep.
legitimately planning on blocking with the flick knives at that point,
Oh, that's so
just because
funny.
I was so low on life.
Yeah. And if he
And-
didn't have a blue, because the reason why I sent the 7, because if I take the cards from his hand, he doesn't have the draconic reactions to buy his daggers back. Meaning Syndra's just
Yeah.
pretty much castrated at this point, right? Or whatever the equivalent is, right? But man, it was a gut punch, but I love it. That's why I love Brute so much. Like what you hate, it's my adrenaline pumping. It's like rolling dice. It's like rolling scabs, except at a higher level. So that was our PQ, Justin. You missed a good time. Unfortunately, I know you're busy. So
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sad I didn't get to annoy everybody with the spark plug, but it's okay. I'm here building a house, so we'll take
yeah.
it.
But
Yeah.
so that was all that. Don't worry. For those that stuck around this long, you get an appreciation. But let's go ahead and get to the reason why we're actually here. We brought on Justin because, Wizard, yes, but Guardian first and foremost. Is that correct, Justin?
Yeah, so my first love was Guardian. I started the game on Bravo, and then I played Briar for a hot second, and then when Andrew Lorenz actually taught me how to play like properly, I gravitated towards Guardian and specifically Old Him. So I had a season there where I made the finals of every single RTN and strategically lost all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm not bitter about that. But yeah, so like I genuinely have loved Guardian for a long time. When Heavy Hitters came out, I brought Victor to a bunch of events.
Mhm.
I was like, I've enjoyed Guardian. It's been a very good class to me. I brought Bravo to, which feels so weird to say now.
Yeah.
But I brought Bravo to a nationals at one point and all this kind of stuff. So I spent a lot of time with the class. It's a good class. Well, it was a good class, and now it's just a fun class. I enjoy it.
Yep.
And before we go on, were you able to play any Flesh and Blood? Were there any lessons you were able to do, or were you so busy trying to get your house built?
Right now, it's been kind of relegated to sneaking games in during lunch and things like that. At work, yeah, I've been tinkering with the deck a bit because obviously I knew I was coming back onto here, and I was like, well, I want to try out like 2 last ideas before I come on. And I learned that ratios matter a lot, and they always matter, and they always will matter. And you are playing a Guardian Runeblade to an extent. So like you got to have certain types of cards in your deck in certain quantities, otherwise the deck just no longer functions.
Interesting. So I guess that's a natural segue into the Pleiades. And I was laughing at Tommy last week because I know you guys softball these segues into the next topic with your siblings of Cardboard Cast, and people just miss it all the time. Right?
Dude, I try so hard.
So I know a softball when I see one, right? I'm not very sports minded, but I'm quick. So let's talk about your first impressions on Pleiades. And I guess for our listeners out there, we'll go ahead and read the hero's ability just so that we're all on the same page, and then we can go ahead and discuss the play patterns and the overall theme of it. Does that sound good?
Sure.
All right. So we'll bring this lovely lady up here. And so Pleiades Superstar, instant tap, remove a suspense counter from an aura you control. You may pit a suspense counter on an aura of suspense you control. Whenever the crowd cheers you, create a confidence token. 4 intellect, 40 health. So, thoughts, Justin? Like play patterns theme. Why did you gravitate toward her particularly? I know you said she's a guardian. She does Runeblade / kind of wizard things in some ways, but like why her particularly?
Both of them were interesting to me. Like Lyeth and Pleiades were both interesting out the jump. I wanted to make Ranger Guardian work for a second, and it turned out to just be Runeblade Guardian, but more Guardian than Runeblade, so that was sad. And once we started seeing those Auras of Suspense actually come through, the big ones that excited me off the jump were the two that we saw way ahead of time. I've been playing Acilio for a bit, so in the palm of your hand and her charm, I looked at that. Palm of your hand's up at the top, so we can talk about that.
Yeah, it's one of the red ones.
Yeah, that one. In the palm of your hand was like, I've been playing Acilio, so Sigil Brilliance, just when it leaves the arena, draw a card.
Yeah.
So this card, because I like doing this, one, drawing cards is fun, but two, it's an instant. I love playing at instant speed. I really enjoyed, one of the things I enjoyed about Oldhim was being able to interact with my opponent on their turn.
Yep.
And I get to do that again with Pleiades, and I get to do it in meaningful ways with Pleiades, and that's awesome for me. I really, really enjoy that.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that this is a 3 block down here on an instant Guardian Aura. So, and then what was the second card you mentioned?
Thespian Charm.
Thespian Charm, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the other one's Thespian Charm. And then Thespian Charm was the other card that we saw at the beginning, because getting the bounce in the palm of your hand is very, very fun, because you just draw like a billion cards in one turn. Was it useful? Who knows? But it's very fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like any big Acilio players out there, like legitimately, it's a very different deck, Pleiades, but like it has all the like serotonin of the card draw and bounce your card draw. So
yeah,
definitely keep an eye on this because yeah, it's a lot of fun.
The crowd cheering is not nothing either because you get the confidence token on the crowd cheering gift. So that's got to be pretty helpful as well.
Confidence.
We should.
We haven't talked about confidence yet. You can block with 2 action, or it's 2 total things, right?
Two
non-block cards.
Yeah.
2 total block cards was the specific part there. And the key there is that it says non-block, so that includes equipment.
Yeah.
So like one of the issues that Guardian has had for a long time is you go Spinal Crush, right, against a ninja, right? They have a 2 block, a 3 block in hand. Oh no, that's terrible for them typically. However, they would just give you a little bit of equipment and move on with their lives, because Guardian attacks historically are like at rate or below rate, especially in today's day and age. They're really below rate. Like a 3 for 7 isn't a good stat line anymore. 3 for 8 is a good stat line. And so these Guardian attacks are just bad. And they're like, so they rely on their crushes to get through. And confidence is a really good way to make sure those crushes get through.
Yeah. And I do like how the confidence kind of pairs up with the dominate too, in some ways too, because that really could possibly hurt them, you know?
Well, you usually get one or the other. Sometimes you do both, but it's usually one or the other.
All right. So how do you want to talk about your deck? Like, do you want to start with the equipment suite first, like namely her weapon choice, and then we could go, or you want to start at the 2 solid equipment choices you have right here?
We'll talk about how I build decks in general.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you just look at the deck list, the things that are in here are the cards that don't leave. So like you see 50 and then 2. Tunic and Iron Fist Revelation never leave the deck, and then the 50 cards that are in the actual like core of the deck, they never leave.
Okay.
So for me, that's what I identified, maybe not as like the most powerful thing to be doing, but the cards that enable your consistent game plans no matter like what the matchup is. And I'm one of those people who my deck is built this way, and then I add cards in to address whatever matchup I'm dealing with, right?
Okay.
I'm not like a core 60 and then cards come in and out that way. It's just cards come in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now I know about Final Spring Tunic. It kind of helps those awkward
Mhm.
turns kind of, kind of even out. But what about Iron Fist Revelation? This is a newer card from Super Slam. Like, is this used all the time? This is a game breaking state, or do you try to time this with everything else? Like, how do you use Iron Fist Revelation?
It's temper 2 for the most part.
Okay.
Sometimes you get to use it on Boulder Drop. Like, it's one of the reasons why Boulder Drop's in the deck, blue Boulder Drop specifically. Red Boulder Drop's always going to make the deck, but blue comes in and out. And one of the reasons why I'm okay with it right now is that with the gauntlets, you kind of get to play yellow Boulder Drop out of nowhere. 6 is an awkward number. Like, you got to put like a true 3 block in front of it. That's fine. But with some of the pumps that are in the deck, it can get to be actually like pretty useful pretty quickly. I've thrown a blue Boulder Drop for, I think 18 was my biggest one.
Yeah. And Boulder Drop is part of the Armory deck too. So check out that if you're curious about the Armory deck. I know it was a lot of great value for those players that haven't played a lot of Guardian before, looking for these cards. So blue and red Boulder Drop both came in there.
I want to go back to Tunic for a second because this deck, I think, is actually one of the strongest Tunic decks in the game, if not the strongest Tunic deck in the game. And it's because Pleiades is one of her big shticks is she's a resource cheat deck. We haven't gotten to what happens next yet, but that's like your primary engine card. It discounts the next card that you would play that costs 1 or more. It's the first card that you play that costs 1 or more. Each turn costs 1 less to play. So that includes your opponent's turns. It's not just on your own turn. Oof. And so with Tunic, right, like a really powerful play line is you have your what happens next out, you have your Tunic up, you pop Tunic, you just play in the palm of your hands. You just got to replace itself, and then on the next turn, you just literally got a free card.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you suddenly have a 5-card hand out of nowhere. Or tension in the air, or like you have your what happens next out, you just get to go Tunic CNC and just like raw cast a 6. Yeah. Which is really, really strong. So
I remember I have literally been CNC'd like 1 card. When you get 1 card CNC'd, it's insane.
You don't forget it. Yeah, the first time you do it, you're like, holy crap, this is so strong.
Yeah. And I guess it goes back to your hero ability where you could remove a suspense counter from an aura control, you may put a suspense counter on another thing. So your whole point is to remove from the tension in the air type of auras the ones that are instant, and then I'm assuming add them to the what happens next and the other kind of auras that have a beneficial effect.
Yeah, I like to think of the auras as givers and takers. So like I have auras that want to give their suspense counters away and auras that want to take the suspense counters. The biggest taker is what happens next. That's the all-star. I mean, the strongest thing you can do in most card games or most games in general is resource cheat. Like, just any way, shape, or form. Why pay for things if you don't have to in general? So what happens next is the one that you try to keep around the most. The other 2 takers would be to be continued and the suspense is killing me. I play one of each right now. They're kind of just imposing targets for the most part. Suspense, sometimes you get to cheese people with, and that's always fun. Like, you throw a CNC, they block 6. It retroactively looks for the first thing you've attacked with that turn. If the only thing you've attacked with that turn is CNC, it comes in for 7 now as like a lunging press that gets to stick around.
Yeah. So, or even Syndra's when they do the ancestral empowerment to keep the momentum going. I mean, that +1 is so irritating when you're trying to exactly block,
Yeah. Because like, say you throw like a Boulder Drop at somebody, right? They say no blocks, they go to reactions, they sink below it. So they covered the 3, right? There's only like 3 left hitting you for it. Well, your suspense is killing them.
Yeah.
And now Boulder Drop's effect goes through.
I guess with that in mind, Justin, I guess I'm kind of curious because lists I've seen have run more of these blue suspense auras. Is there a reason, I guess, why you're only running the 5?
Yes. Well, yes. The basic answer is the takers all block 2. Right? And so if you want to shore up your matchups like Syndra, you just need to straight up have 3 blocks in your deck. You just need a certain density of good blocking cards. At the end of the day, you are playing a Guardian, and where LSS has taken Guardians in the past 2-ish years, maybe a year and a half, is a damage fatigue as like their primary game plan. So you look at like you sit down across from a Jarl. Yeah, they block a lot, they heal a lot. But at the end of the day, like if you take a turn off, they're going to hit you with a CNC, right?
Yeah.
Things like that. Or like look at Victor, right? He wants to clash. He wants to play Miller's Grindstone. He's blocking, but he is still trying to attack his opponents just to take cards out of their deck.
Yeah.
Right? Pleiades falls into that same category. You have the suspense auras that do stuff, but their goal is basically to pump up and enable her good attacks.
Yeah.
So that way you're hitting people with those good attacks to try to rip cards out of their deck or just go way above rate.
Okay, that makes sense.
So,
I guess another ratio I was curious about were the red suspend auras, the buffs specifically, because it's all like. Is there any reason? So tension you like the best? Does that have to do with the what happens next tunic thing you mentioned?
Yeah. So tension is just tension is your best one because it's your cheapest one, right? So if you once again like you have what happens next out, you play CNC. They can't tell whether it's pummel or tension in the air or palm in your hand. Right? Because those are all 2 costs because you're just floating 2. Because it's like, all right, well, CNC, what am I doing now? So because of that, it's your cheapest one, it's your easiest one to get out. Edge, honestly, I kind of hate. I hate, like, kind of despise the card, but it's just good enough at everything to where it doesn't come out. I'm not a big fan of edging. So that's all for
you're not a fan of
As a Lyath player, I love edging.
Yeah, I know.
As an Ira player, I also love edging.
Yeah, well, it's like because in those decks, edging makes in Lyath specifically, edging makes sense because you don't have what happens next. You don't have resource cheating, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Where this deck, this edge of your seats is actually like a 2 cost some of the time, and you don't have like 4s that pair with it very well because you have to make the deck work whenever you don't have what happens next out. So it's just kind of there.
Yeah,
you know.
That makes sense.
But it does enough. It's playable enough. It's not Active Glory, where Active Glory is like phenomenal when you have what happens next out, but it's really bad when you don't. So it's just kind of my default. I got my opponent to block out on my whole turn, and now I just happen to have an edge of seat in my hand to hand extend and actually play on a full hand.
Yeah.
So,
and edge of the seats, the reason why just saying it's awkward is because it's a 3 cost, but it adds +5. Whereas tension in there is a 2 cost, but it's a +4. So kind of in that chain of things. And then Active Glory, he's playing blue. It's a 4 cost, but gives +4 to the power. So I guess if you need to cast it, you can, but that's the one you're probably just more like pitching and waiting to late game.
Yeah, it's like I'm in the late game. I need threats in my deck. I need a blue suspense aura or a blue giver just to like help out my what happens next, stick around.
Yeah.
And of the pumps, it's the biggest one. Now, if you look at the deck list name, it's Hungry Cries from my pedestal because it's just the important cards in the deck. We haven't talked about one of them. We haven't talked about 2 of them.
Okay.
The best. Go ahead. It looks like you're about to say something. Sorry.
No. I did have one question though. So, so the to be continued 0 cost blue pitch aura that's as an instant blocks 2 makes sense. How often does the first time you would be dealt damage each turn prevent one of that damage? How often does this come up that's so helpful? I know against Syndra, sure, but like
that's
is it? Okay.
If
so it's
Syndra
only for
didn't exist, yeah. I cut the card for a long time, and then Syndra became a much bigger deal. And I've been winning the matchup without the card. But as like a turn 0 play, just being able to get to be continued out is super strong.
Yeah.
So
able to prevent dagger flicks is just kind of insane. So
yeah, it's super obnoxious. The issue with it is that it says the first time you would deal damage. So like if you took damage on Chain Link 1 because it just went like Ravenous Rabble, and you said no blocks, and you try to go like to be continued, haha, stop the flick. No, you've already taken damage.
Yeah. So this is kind of something, and I guess I always played this incorrectly before when I was playing around the Pleiades deck. You would hold this as an instant dead for them to commit, and if they're bleeding 1 damage over, you would stop it then. It's more like a gotcha.
No, it's the first time. So if you've already taken damage and you play this, you can't prevent more damage.
Okay. I
So
got you.
you have to use it, basically, you either have to fully block Chainlink 1 if you want to try and use it on Chainlink 2,
Okay,
or you have to commit it to Chainlink 1.
I got you.
And
So
Interesting.
it makes
So-
the card a little weak, unfortunately.
I got you. Okay. So it wouldn't, like, if it's for the Cinder matchup, Cinder attacks for a 3 attack or 2 attack. You block it. She flicks dagger. You play this on top. This is resolved, prevents the dagger flick, or doesn't happen that way?
Yeah, so like if you do it in reaction, so say we're on Chainlink 1, they attack with Ronin Renegade. I put a 3 block in front of it, right? They flick the dagger because they're like, all right, well, they're surely not going to block Chainlink 2. In response to the Flick Knives trigger, that's when you would play To Be Continued and blow them out and get to do all the stuff that you want.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But it more so just makes it to where, like, if you block Chainlinks 1 and 2, you get to ignore the flick because there's no way. Like, you're just fine.
We did talk about a lot of the suspense auras, but getting back to, Justin, of course, the name of the deck. I guess the 2 cards that we really want to talk about is Up on a Pedestal and Cries of Encore. So maybe let's look at Cries first, because that card is a house.
It's the best card in the deck. Yeah. I mean, you can read it here. If you attack a hero and you have less health than them, you get a cheer, which already makes a confidence token for the next turn. That's really strong. If you've been cheered this turn, this gets, when it hits a hero, you may play an Aura Suspense from your graveyard this turn. That is insane. So it just has to hit. It doesn't have to crush. It just has to hit. So you can't put 2-3 blocks in front of it and stop the effect.
And there are so many things, like for instance, if you have no cards in hand, you can buy back like a 0 cost instant. If you have a card in hand, you can buy back basically anything. Like, and it swings for 7, and it's not even a crush effect. It's just an on hit.
Yep. The cute things with this card is that it's just if you've been cheered this turn. So her Thespian Charm, as long as you like, you could just play 3 for 7, have Charm and Arsenal, and just cheer. Like, they say no blocks because, all right, well, they haven't, like, the effect's not active. You can be like, all right, cool. In reaction, Thespian Charm.
Yeah.
And now suddenly they have to cover 7, otherwise you get the effect. Because we didn't get to talk about the givers with this. I should have mentioned this when we were talking about them. Tension, Agencies, and Act of Glory. The issue with all of them is that they're really below rate when you play them. A standard stat line, Tension's fine. A standard stat line, right, is like a 2 for 6, right? Yeah. Well, this is a 2 for +4. So you're getting instants typically don't block, so that's probably one point that they took away there. And then this doesn't consume your action point, right? And they're maybe considering suspense counter as like another point of value. So these auras are actually like really below rate to play.
Yeah, 2-card 4 in the basic Flesh and Blood math is terrible.
Yes. However, if you play a Cries of the Encore and you have what happens next out, and your Cries hits, and you use your Tunic counter, now suddenly you have a 2-card 11, right? Because you have the 7 from the Cries, and then you have 4 more from the Tension. Which is obviously, that's like Felling of the Crown numbers. So that's a good card.
Wow.
Yeah, but you only have 3 Cries of Encore, so it can't be that good, you know?
Oh, ha ha ha! Let's talk about Up on a Pedestal.
Up on a Pedestal.
This card I thought sucked when it first came out, and then I played with it for 2 games, and I was like, oh, this is the second best card in the deck.
But Justin only blocks for 2.
Yeah, it
grabs the best card in your deck. So
yeah, it gets 2 of the best card in your deck and just puts them in.
Yeah. So for the people, Up on a Pedestal it's a 0-cost blue pitch. When this enters or leaves the arena, you may put a Revered or Guardian attack action card from your graveyard on top of your deck. It's played as an instant, and again, as we said, it's a 2-block. And before we go on, for those that are listening and not familiar with the suspense, because you guys have been living under a rock, I don't judge. Suspense, anything with that keyword is this enters the arena with 2 suspense counters at the start of your turn. Remove a suspense counter from it when it has, and then destroy it. All right, that's our paperwork. Now we're ready to continue. Go on with Up on a Pedestal.
Yeah, so the end game loop that lets you beat fatigue in decks like Verdance, and which is whenever the name of the deck came around, was you go Cries of the Encore, you go Cries. There we go, Cries of Encore. The first one that hits, if you have what happens next out, just assuming baseline, because we're in the end game, you can set this up. There was a card on the sideboard called Hungry for More. If you don't mind clicking on it.
Oh, I love to click on it.
Thank you. It's just Sigil Solace. It's just gain 3, right?
Mhm.
So the first one hits. It makes a confidence token because it cheers because you're lower life in these situations. It hits. You get to pull the Hungry for More out, right? 2 card 10. That's good. The next turn, you have the other Cries of the Encore off your up from a pedestal, right? And you drew that one, so you play the next Cries, or you play another Cries. This Cries hits again because you have confidence, right? Realistically, they can only block 6 on your 7. One's going to leak through. You get up on a pedestal. You let this card go to the graveyard now, right? Because you're up on a pedestal is an instant. You can just close the combat chain. So now both your Cries of the Encore are or Cries for Encore are in the graveyard, and you can just grab them simultaneously, or like one after the other with up on pedestal.
Oof.
So you get to loop, and then you just do this loop over and over and over again. It's 10-7, 10-7, 10-7, 10-7.
And that'll win games.
Yeah. Turns out having a 4-card 17 is good.
Pretty good.
And it's very uninteractable because, as you sort of mentioned, like the way confidence works, like unless they have like a D-react or something, like they're not blocking. They're not going to be able to block it out with confidence.
It's
Jesus.
really, really strong, and it makes this end game loop that any like mid-range or fatigue deck has to think about.
Yeah.
Because if they burn through all their defensive tools before you like want to set up this loop, they're in trouble.
And so what are you pitching for the Cries of Encore? I know you're saying it's like you're doing up on the pedestal to grab Cries of Encore, and Cries of Encore is grabbing the up on a pedestal, right? And that's kind of the...
Whatever
so,
blue's left in your deck. Doesn't matter.
Gotcha. So, all right. That seems pretty dang good, especially since the Guardians rule in the end stage, right? I mean, that's where your all shines at. So,
yeah, every Guardian needs to have a very strong end game, and this is the strongest one. One of, if not the strongest.
So where do you want to talk about next? So, I mean, I see can we jump to like the other Standing Ovation and Superstar? These are kind of new cards that we haven't covered yet.
Sure.
Kind of go back to the older cards?
Sure.
All right. Standing Ovation, what do you think about this card?
It's fine.
Yeah.
You do it whenever we're on the guitar plan.
Yeah.
And you're playing Oops All Suspense, you'll pop it once every other game. And usually, even when you pop it, it's like only okay.
Yeah. I did not like this card, right? So I'm glad you're saying that, because when I played a little bit of Pleiades, it was nothing major, right? Nothing like your deck here. It was like the Armory deck plus some of my revisions, which we all have talked about, right? But I found this card kind of hard to pull off for the most part. Like you said, you're not playing it every game. It's not a play state you can play toward, right, without kind of sustaining tempo. Is that kind of what you figured too? Or so is it just really... Go ahead.
Yeah, it's tough. Like if you kind of fall into it, that's sweet. Like I'm never arsenaling Standing Ovation unless like I draw a hand of like palm draws, tension, play out 0-cost suspense, or arsenal Standing Ovation, because they're all on like 2 counters. They're all going to go down together. That kind of thing, right? Like that's like a very specific scenario though. For me to arsenal.
Granted, it is like a blue like 6 for 8. Like it's a great popper. It blocks 3. Like
it does all the things that you need in the deck.
Yeah. And then like on occasion you're like, oh okay, I can swing with it. It's pretty good here.
Yeah.
That said, I tested like 3. I did like a best of 5 with somebody with it, and I popped it in 4 out of the 5 games.
Oh wow.
But like that was like intentionally building the deck towards it, and we've put some cards on the sideboard that really help.
Okay.
Getting the Standing Ovation off. It really shines in your like mid-rangey matchups. Like for example, KO would be one where it kind of shines because you need to catch up on math somewhere, and getting an extra turn will do that pretty well.
You know where it actually shines in? Against Lyath, because Jeremy played it against me. I said, okay, I'm going to activate Lyath to be defensive. The extra turn rolled around, and I said, wait a second, my Lyath is still tapped.
Oh yeah, you're screwed. You don't get to do that again.
Oh,
It
it's
was,
so
it
funny
was very good.
because you see her on the card. Again, it's like I'm thinking, oh, this is only a Pleiades card. I forget. Yeah,
No, Jeremy was playing Pleiades into.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought Jeremy was on the Liath kick still, so I got you. Yeah.
This was early on. Superstar. Let's talk about that. And they are what you say you are. So this card is fine. This card is fine. It creates
3.
confidence. It blocks 3. When you have what happens next out, it basically is create 2 confidence tokens on 2 turns. If you look at the rate of Bravo used to have to pay 2 resources to get Dominate, right? Just like intrinsically. And this is paying a card and a resource. So they're treating 2 confidence tokens equal to Dominate-ish, if like that transitive property works. Or 2 Dominates is equal to 2 confidence tokens, I guess is a better way to put that. And sometimes you get to cheat that curve because what happens next? Or Tunic. And those are both really, really strong things. You have matchups to where if you are trying to be the beatdown, confidence tokens are insane.
Yeah.
And I am playing towards that game plan into certain decks, like Verdant's matchup. Like Verdant's matchup, I want to attack with confidence on, I want to say it's like at least 12 out of 16 turns.
Yeah, I could see this being a pretty important card for something like your Cries of Encore, right? Because like that one, the big problem with that card is it requires you to have a lower life total. So in some of these like more controlling matchups, I could definitely see you having issues being at a lower life total. So having a way in deck to like set up the cheer seems kind of helpful.
Yep. Yeah, it's really good for that. And the other Suspensors, the red ones, the red givers, they're really helpful for that too, because you kind of poop those out for a turn and your opponent has to do something. So they usually just hit you and you go back lower than them. And then we get to play the game again.
Makes sense. Are there any other blue cards you want to talk? There are 2 that I kind of wanted to look at. I know Turning Point is
Turning Point.
Insane.
Yeah, Turning Point's a nuts card.
Oh, yeah.
Card. Whew, yeah, we like 0 for 5s in blue.
Blue 0 for 5 gets a confidence too. So
yeah, that's a good card. It's one of the reasons to play Pleiades. Full stop.
Yeah.
Why do they have Olympia on the card? Is this Olympia?
I don't know about all that.
They said I want Olympia to show up, in some like competitive capacity.
Jesus, dude.
I'm not touching it.
All right.
I guess the other big card I kind of wanted to talk about was Terra Sunder, because I love Terra Sunder, one of my favorites.
All right. Yeah. Terra Sunder is good. Just stop the sentence there. Yep, Terra Sunder is good.
You get 2 in the Armory deck.
You do get 2. Some things that are really cool about it is it actually is insane with your guitar. Because
that's true, yeah.
In the guitar matchups, and I'm playing the guitar on the board, people will realize that the guitar is like a very, very, very important thing to block out, because letting me start to chain confidence tokens is an issue. So having a Terra Sunder plus like a tension pop, and suddenly I have 11 Dominate because I have all the stuff going on. Discard 2, make a confidence token, keep the train rolling.
Yeah,
is really, really important.
And for those that don't know Terra Sunder, because they had the privilege of not having a meta full of Guardians, this is a 3-cost blue pitch, 3 block Guardian action card. Your next Guardian attack this turn gets +1 power, Dominate, and when this hits a hero, they discard 2 cards. Go again. So it's not even worried about the crush effects. It's like 1 damage bleeds through. You're discarding 2 cards.
Yeah.
Right.
And a big issue with confidence tokens is that they don't work on your weapon, right? Dominate does work on your weapon, so like evasion on weapon, pretty good.
We could talk about the Moment Maker real quick. What a moment to like bring this up, right? So the Revered Guardian weapon, Hammer Axe. It's a Hammer Axe, 2-handed. Once per turn action, 3 resources attack. If you control 3 or more auras of suspense, this gets +2, and when this hits a hero, the crowd cheers you. It's 4 base power.
How often do you get to have the 3 auras?
This is where I was talking about ratios matter.
Oh, Justin, you bleeped out for a second.
Yeah, that's going to happen. I'm still on crappy Wi-Fi. That's where, when I was saying like things I learned about, this was what I was wanting to try again. I was trying to see how few auras I can play and still get the moment maker off pretty consistently. And the basic answer is the number that I landed on. You have to play the 8 reds, and then you got to play at least 5 of the blues, and then up on a pedestal is kind of its own thing. So 7 of the blues in the core, and then you got to add at least 3 to 4 from the board. But the answer is when you do that, you get to moment maker probably 4 times a game. Because you're leaning into it, right? Because like Cries is going to get back some of your auras. You're naturally going to keep around like a what happens next or a pedestal. They're just going to like exist. Your play patterns kind of change because in some matchups you're trying to play on your opponent's turn to like speed up your suspense counters. In guitar matchups, you're playing a lot on your own turn to maximize the length of those suspense counters. And that usually does the trick. Like if you play your suspense counter slow, you can keep the guitar rolling pretty well.
So I'm assuming because the moment maker was in the sideboard, and you also have Titan's Fist there. I'm assuming it's control decks versus aggro decks. Is there any sort of nuance there?
Yeah, when I'm the beatdown, so like for example, Verdance and RKO, I need to get their life totals low. So I play moment maker. Right? Because my only other game plan for Verdance is to try to fatigue her. And with this style of deck, the 80 that we are presenting here and talking about, I can't fatigue Verdance. So I need to kill her, which means that I got to get the moment maker off a couple of times in the game and just present scary things for her to deal with.
Makes sense to me.
And so Titan's Fist is the one-handed, and it's 3 resources attack. Card 3 costs are greater in your pitch zone. It has +1. It's base 3 power, so it's 4 power. And you paired it with Bastion Duty. But I noticed in the Gem Season 3 pack, they gave you Ramparts of Ram's Head or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. What card is that?
Rampart.
Yeah, Rampart.
Yeah, that's another good question. Why do you choose to? Because the 2-block temper equipment's pretty good, but Rampart I thought would be better just because you are playing on your opponent's turn a lot, so you might have some floating resources remaining.
So yes and no. When you're trying to make edge work, right? The only time that you're playing on your opponent's turn and you have the resources left floating is edge of their seats and sometimes tension, right? So it does make edge a lot better, and that's good, but that's a single card in your deck. Where like tension, if you're playing it on your opponent's turn, you're really playing it off a Tunic Counter, right? So then Rampart doesn't really get used a ton, surprisingly. Like I started with Rampart. And it's really, really good into the brutes, and it's really, really good into into gravy, right? Those were the 2 places where it was just an absolute house. And if you have a lot of brutes and gravy in your meta, play Rampart. It's in the maybe board. But I wanted to shore up my matchups that I felt like I could win. And I had to cut Rampart for a different piece of equipment. So
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Bastion of Duty is just the superior Temper 2 shield that you have access to. So
you prefer
it has
the Steel Blade Breckler?
Well, it has Protect, so like I can protect my neighbors as well, which is very important in certain matchups. So like, you gotta like, yeah.
This is the difference between Justin and I. I was like, I can protect my neighbor. Fuck that.
You're playing a revered hero. You have to help people out around you.
Oh, I guess that this is why I play Wyeth and you play
Pleiades. Well, it's just a Temper 2 shield. You can play Steel Braid Buckler, but I just can't pronounce that word, so I play Bastion of Duty.
Well, also it's thematic too. If you think about Bastion of Duty, it fits her style. It's pretty, right? It's glowy, it's sparkly, right?
Very revered. Very revered.
Yeah.
It's very revered. But it's
hey, I have a cold foil Steel Braid too.
You know, those are $30 now.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, it's basically if I'm the beatdown, I'm playing the guitar. If my opponent is the beatdown, I'm playing Titan's Fist and the shield. And I hate Titan's Fist. I am like one of Titan's Fist's greatest haters. It's mathematically a great card. You're doing 4 damage for 1 card. That's good rate. You're taking no cards out of your deck. That's also great. However, FAD in 2025 is about synergy, right? It is about doing things that are cohesive and things that work together, right? It's talking about like making a bunch of like parts greater than their individual parts, right? Or whatever, and all that kind of jazz. And Titan's Fist doesn't fit any of those game plans.
Yeah, Justin, I hate it when you're right, but you are 100% right.
Well, you're also going to hate me
love
when I talk
Titans
about Spinal
too,
Crush. You're gonna
yeah.
hate me when I talk about Spinal Crush for the same reason.
Oh,
So,
no.
so a Justinism could be it's about synergy. Right? I love it. We can market
Synergy guy,
this.
yeah.
It's a synergy.
Yeah,
It's all about
I'm a
synergy.
synergy guy.
Oh, yeah.
We'll circle back around to it in an email.
We got
So-
2 more cards in your main 50 to talk about, and I guess
Go for it.
no need to talk about the Cranial Crush because it's just pretty much a 6 cost, 8
6 for
attack,
8, yeah.
and sometimes it
big
comes
thing,
up.
Big thing is that it's really good into the meta decks right now. It's good into Gravian Syndra.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
like
that's
if
pretty
Cranial Crush hits, I don't care about blocking the next turn because I don't have to care about mask momentum.
Yeah, and in order for them to do the 4, they're giving you 2 cards anyways, which is pretty good because Syndra wants to keep her whole hand. So yeah, I like it.
Yep. It's also good into Gravy because Breaking Gold, if you set this up on a turn before like it's clear they're about to pop off, they have all the things on the board, you just say no.
I like that.
And
Yeah.
you know what? If you had this in Arsenal and the Iron Fist Revelation, that's coming in for 9. It's not nothing right there. That's a lot of good synergy. I could do. I'm so proud of
We're
myself.
getting you. We're getting you there.
All right. And then this card, Opposing Visage. X3, blue pitch, 3 block, guardian action. Search your deck for an aura card with cost 0 or less, put it into the arena, then shuffle, go again. I think it kind of explains itself, but would you ever, like, you pay 3 to kind of get your what happens next online? Is that what you're kind of hoping for? And then maybe
Matchup specific, but yeah.
Okay. Would you ever get like the to be continued or the suspense is killing me in specific matchups, or are you always kind of trying to getting the what happens next so you go off?
Syndra, it's to be continued because in that versus Syndra, you don't really care about keeping around your discounters because you're not keeping cards in that matchup anyways. You're not like keeping big hands to transfer suspense counters to what happens next and keep it around the whole game. So to be continued is just a better one in case you just accidentally stumble into more suspense that's good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually tutored Suspense is Killing Me off of it.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think I may have once in total, but that's it. But usually it's what happens next. It's just 6 more copies of what happens next, or 3 more copies.
Yeah, I love it.
And fun fact, me and another guy who have worked on this deck, our win rate when casting Imposing Visage on turns 3 through 9 is 79%.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Because a lot of people look at this card and they say, well, and it's also like we're 2 better players playing against Talishar. So it's like mostly him. Like he's really, really strong and solid. So it's a point to prove that like, hey, if you need to just take a turn to go get your what happens next and spend 2 cards, do it. Like if the hands line up and it allows you to, go do it. It's really strong.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I didn't expect it. Usually when I see Imposing, I think it's like there for turn 0 and it's there for like if your opponent just gives you a big hand. But yeah, I guess what happens next is that powerful that you're just willing to just take a bit of extra time to grab it.
Yeah, like I didn't expect that either. I was like kind of like memeing at first. I was like, what happens if I force cast this thing a bunch? And then I kept winning. And then I texted him and I was like, all right, we need to start.
That's when we learned.
Yeah, it was like we need to start stat tracking this thing, and so we started using that.
Okay, and so turn 0, you're really hoping for an Imposing Visage or what happens next, right? Okay.
Yep. Any of the suspense ores, I honestly don't care. It could be Palm, it could be Edge, Tension. If Act of Glory's in, it could be that. It could be Hungry. I really don't care.
Yeah,
I guess with that in mind, like if you know you win the die roll, what are you choosing like most of the time?
I'm taking away whatever my opponent likes.
Okay, all right. So you're not like, because that's kind of surprising. Part of me thinks like you would just default to saying like, oh, I go first because I want to get all my suspense ores out with like.
Okay, so Justin, I actually prepared for this because I knew that was your typical answer because it really does depend, right? So I want to jump ahead to the show notes and I want to ask you, since we're a learning journey podcast, to follow up on Evan's question. In a matchup, if you don't know anything about your opponent's hero and you're playing Pleiades, your best shot, first or second?
You blind first then.
Okay.
Yeah,
blind first.
Your deck is happy to go first because you have, I think it's 24 cards in your deck at this point. I can't remember the exact number. I change it too much. You have a bunch of cards in your deck that gain a lot of EV for free value if you go first.
Okay. Fantastic, man.
We like free value.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. That's the main deck. Really extensive, well thought out. And let's talk about your inventory. 20 in the inventory. We already covered a few of them. Hungry for more.
How about we start with the equipment? Because we went over like a couple pieces of the
Sure.
equipment. There were some I really wanted to ask about.
Arcane Lantern.
Which one do you want? Yeah, Arcane Lantern.
Yeah,
So-
Arcane Lantern. What does that do?
So Arcane Lantern, when I won my first PQ with Kano, that was my gold foil.
No kidding.
Wow, fair enough.
That's great.
Always
That was
included.
hilarious.
That's really
Man,
cool.
you could have had Bunker Beard.
Well, we joked that all my opponents needed it that weekend, so it worked out.
That's so appropriate, dude. All right, but real. I mean, we could talk about balance of justice. I mean, you bring this in on anything that draws more like brutes, obviously. Maybe Syndra.
It's my default headpiece.
Okay.
Yeah. The other
It just
headpiece
blocks
is
too.
the one I wanted to ask about, which is the cheer helm, I believe.
This was okay. So we're talking about standing ovation, or like one of the weaknesses to the deck is in your beatdown matchups, right? You do not have a confidence token. You've set up all these auras of suspense. You're ready to pop off, right? You attack your opponent. They just put their whole hand on the table, right? They just block 12 because you did the big thing. You draw back up. You have a crappy hand, and they got to block 12 last turn.
Interesting.
Right?
So would this be more like mid-range to control? You would bring this in? Okay.
Yep. Yep. This is I am the beatdown. This hat comes in when I am the beatdown.
All right.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
And it's like we talked about, like getting standing ovations off. This helps your standing ovation connect.
Yeah. Because it makes sense.
Yeah. One of the hard parts about standing ovation is actually having the confidence token when you need it. And the hat does that. This is what I cut for Rampart.
The Pleiades Armory Deck came with like a Guardwell hat that I felt was like really powerful. Is there a reason you're not running that one?
It's in the maybe board. It is an option. Okay. It's strong. I think it is the third best. I think it's either the third or fourth best hat. Adding a suspense counter. I had to read it to make sure I read it correctly. Adding a suspense counter is good for what happens next. It essentially turns the hat into a 3-value hat, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Right? Which is good. Like 3-value hats are strong.
Yeah.
And that's
I guess the current meta is very like balance of justice focused.
Yes.
I could see like if balance like gets worse, like people aren't drawing cards, I could see this coming in instead.
Yeah, like if Gravy, Syndra, KO all dropped off tomorrow, and we're looking at like Verdance, RKO, maybe Acilio because he kind of draws cards, but not in like trigger balance ways. Like Tier of Suspense definitely could come in.
Okay.
I did play a Crown of Providence a ton just because Guardians, when you brick on all reds, used to make me scream. But with enough resource cheating that this deck has, you can kind of get away with it.
No.
I really haven't missed Crown of Providence.
Now, Balance of Justice's market price has kind of been skyrocketing. I think it's closer to 180 now. Budget option would be Helm of the Adored or Tiara of Suspense for more budget-minded players.
The Tiara comes in the Armory deck. So
Tiara is perfectly serviceable. Like it is strong enough. It blocks both of them, block 2 in most of the matchups I play them. Sometimes Syndra accidentally uses an Ancestral Empowerment and a Throw Dagger on the same turn. Or just does something stupid to let me draw 2 cards. Gravy draws 2 all the time. Those are like KO. KO is a bad matchup. OG KO is a bad matchup. So balance really helps balance the scales.
Okay.
So,
makes sense.
But your head slot is easily the worst equipment slot in your deck.
Makes sense.
It's very interchangeable.
And then let's get to the foot slot, because since you and I, Justin, are longtime Guardian players, remember when Guardians ran Iron Rot boots?
I ran Mage Master boots for Tome of Findall and Bravo, so I could get Rouse of the Ancients off. I ran Iron Rot boots. I've ran Hide legs. I've ran Civic Steps. I've ran Snapdragons.
Yeah.
Just for E-Strike. I'm trying to think of what other funny boots have I ran in Guardian.
Yeah, so boots to the board being a 2-block temper, like you don't have to read the rest of the text like at all. It's actually pretty good, the text, but like, oh my god, 2-block temper boots that Guardian has, insanity.
That doesn't give your opponent Quicken.
Yeah, your opponent doesn't even get a Quicken. That's insane.
But I think really
It's
why
really strong.
I think really why Evan wanted to speak about boots to the board is he has a foot fetish. I remember his Verdant's talk with Noah, so I'm just throwing that out there. But please,
on the internet, man.
Eh.
It's not true. He's lying to you.
Okay, full
Because you're
disclosure,
the live player. Anyways.
I am lying.
Yeah.
He's never said anything. Hey, Evan, can you flip to the last a page in your binder? I'm not sure if it was a foot fetish.
No, wait, no. That stays between us.
I know, I'm sorry. All right. Continuing on. The text is when this defends, you may pay up to 3 resources. Create that many toughness tokens. As Evan was saying, this is a great blocking boots for revered equipment. And that's, a really strong ability, it seems like. So, when is that used? Against other Guardians or any techs that go really large and they're setting up? Is that kind of how you do it?
Guardians, Brutes, Runeblades, Verdants, Florian, all of them. It basically just says block with this, so it's 3 block, and then you pitch a card into it to keep 2 cards in deck.
Okay.
Right? Because you basically turn one of your 3 blocks into a 6 block. Or like 6 block the next turn. Right? So you're paying a card now for a card later.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so in fatigue-oriented matchups, like, the card's insane. So
yes.
And then the rest of the equipment, you get some AB.
AB2. Yeah.
Is there a reason why you're running? I know you have Arcane Lantern because you have the gold foil, but like, is there any reason you're running that over like maybe Nullrune Arms, for instance?
Your arms, Verdant sometimes attacks you, so you can get 5 value out of your arms occasionally.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's your arms and boots. Like it could be arms, it could be boots. As like honestly, head slot is kind of bad too, but Helm of the Adored changed it. It was originally Arcane Lantern and the Helm, or sorry, Nullrune Hood.
That makes
originally,
sense. Okay.
And then I've been trying this Helm thing out. It's been solid, so I like it.
No, that's cool. And then I guess we talked about all the equipment. I guess let's get to some of these other cards. I do see some spicy cards I like in your sideboard. So.
Well, you know what card I naturally go toward, Evan? You want to say it before I click it?
Probably the Oasis Respite, right?
Yeah, so let's talk about Shelter from the Storm. Let's talk about. Let's get it out of the way.
I love it.
Card's mid.
Oh,
but it's the right kind of mid.
Yeah.
I was playing 3. You brick on it a lot, so it's really the 2 pummels and the 1 edge in the board. Those are like 3 cards that come in together. That's like a 3-card package.
So that's like you're like more like if you have to be the aggressor, that's your package.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if I'm the beatdown, Act of Glory, Edge Pummel, Spinal Charm.
I don't hate it because like having 2 pummels, like it means your opponent has to think about it a lot, but you're not breaking on pummels all the time. So
and it's your Tunic counter is really taxed in this deck. We've talked about Tunic a ton. Tunic Pummel is one of the strongest plays you can do in the game. It always has been. It always will be. You have CNC in your deck, so CNC Pummel is always one of the strongest plays that you have access to.
I mean, what happens next? Being able to CNC Pummel off a blue without Tunic?
Like, insane play, right?
So
it's
cool.
really, 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 really strong. And we talked about when you're on the guitar plan, people block out your guitar. Well, Pummel works on your guitar because it is a hammer as well as an axe. So you can pummel your guitar and push it through if you really need a confidence token to connect.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. So that's your sort of aggro package. I'm assuming Hungry for More is the control package. You did sort of like mention it in your like sort of against like fatigue oriented decks, right?
It's control package. It's your numbers package. Like I play it versus Syndra because like if you ever get a Cries for Hungry off in the middle of the game, that can just be game winning. Like just getting to 2-card 10 sometimes can just like because that matchup is kind of tight.
Yeah, makes sense.
Getting to 2-card 10 once or twice a game just can win you games.
The funny thing is, when I saw this card first, I was like, that's trash. All right. But the way you explain it, it's like the same way I see sometimes when Tommy plays certain cards, like, oh, it's more math-based more than anything. Like, if you read the card, it's like, oh, it's a 2-card, 3-life game.
It looks like Sigil, but you have to pay 1 resource.
Yeah.
But it plays a lot better than that.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. It's a solid card. If they gave us a better 1-cost suspense aura, I would kick it to the curb, but it cost 1.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's the only one cost suspense aura. So when
Yeah.
you have your discount out going for cries, it's the way to go above rate.
Gotcha.
I guess with that in mind, you get the 2 Oasis and 2 Shelters and some Sinks. I guess like Shelter and Sink makes sense. That's just like against like more aggressive decks. Maybe value-based decks you bring them into just if you want to block for 4. But Oasis, what is that for specifically?
When I need defensive cards 6 and 7, or Kano. Or like
okay.
Wizards in general. You're the best Oasis deck we've ever had. Because what happens next discounts Oasis.
That's true. That is pretty good, yeah.
So
I didn't think about that.
You get to shields down versus Kano a ton.
Oh, that's
Man.
crazy.
You
Yeah,
just show them Oasis over and over again. Like, hold on, let me pull up my Kano win rate.
Damn, I didn't even think
great,
about that.
great radio. Kano win rate is 71%.
That's insane.
Ooh.
I was looking at this deck and I was like, oh, I feel like you lose to Kano, but
Nope. AB2 plus balance gets you there because they pop off. They have to draw cards on their pop off turn. So you get to draw cards and like stunt some or staunch some of the damage, and then you have enough healing, you have enough disruption, you have enough stuff going on to where you can beat down a Kano.
okay.
And then you just need to draw Oasis.
No, that's crazy. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Dang.
just draw the card.
Is
And
this
And you have like
sorry, go ahead.
Oh.
You have like Palm and Charm and things like that to like cycle through your deck faster. So realistically, you can find a 2-of by like turn 4 pretty, not every game, but pretty reliably.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I guess, and we talked about the card earlier, but when does the Thespian Charms come in?
Oof, when you're the beatdown. This card is really good and really bad.
Oh,
Yeah, this card comes in and out of my list the most. I'm going to be honest. It's really powerful, but man, you can brick on it, and drawing it at the wrong time can just be game losing.
I think that's why you run 2, right? 3 is way too much
Yeah.
because you never want to see 2 in the same hand at the same
that
time.
makes sense. You're not a Cilio, so you can't just cycle your instance. So
You can't cycle it away if you didn't draw your suspense auras and you draw this first. It sucks. It does make standing ovation easier because like if you have 2 auras pop, you can just like in reactions make the 3rd one disappear. Right? So like you have to think about pummel or suspense. It has a lot of really cool interactions. And if you think about the card in a vacuum, it's basically replacing itself with another suspense aura, which is one of your more powerful cards, and a confidence token. And we've talked about how important confidence tokens are. And so it's one of my ways to generate confidence when I'm the beatdown on the guitar.
Okay. Wow. All right.
okay.
And then
That's really cool.
kind of piggybacking on what you're saying, is that why you run 3 sinks so you can start fishing and then only 2 shelters for your defensive package?
It's just like I bring in 2 sets of 3-ofs and 2 sets of 2-ofs. And so when I'm like full defensive, it's Hungry and Sink Below. And then the defensive cards, like full defensive, is Shelter and Oasis.
Okay.
And then it lets me like play like shades of gray. So like versus Syndra, Oasis is kind of a bad card because I don't get to keep what happens next round a ton. But I get to play Spinal Crush now, and that's a good 3 block.
Yeah.
And it's a 2-of. So
And I know
it's the idea.
I know a lot of people that would like to play Shades of Grey with Syndra. So you want to talk about what?
You
I
Syndra?
have to
I
be
was
careful what I
not
say around you. My brain didn't go there either. Spinal Crush sucks. This card's terrible.
I figured you were going there.
It's a 5-for-9. We were spending 2 cards to do 9, or 3 cards to do 9 damage. That is terrible.
Right.
Rate. No, that's terrible.
It is kind of terrible.
We do 3-card 11s now, or 3-card 12s. Like this card literally came out in the first set of the game, and its effect is really strong. If you have what happens next in Tunic up, now it's a 2-card 9, and that's fine. But like, you play the card because sometimes you're going to take Syndra's whole hand, and you need something to do with a big hand coming back.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, that is crushing. And I'm not trying to like make the pun here, but dang, I remember getting hit by this, and I'm like asking, "Hey, you mean I can't use anything?" Blank text will. Wait, explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Blank text. Let's go on. All right, that's yeah.
Yeah, it's just the effect on it's really strong. Don't get me wrong. It's just the stat line on it is bad, and realistically, most decks now have solutions to Spinal Crush, right? Like your aggro decks have good 2-card hands, which is typically what they're doing whenever they do this. Or like we all know the game plan now of like block 3 cards on a Spinal, arsenal a card pass, right? Like the game is just passed Spinal by to an extent, but it is mid in the right ways that I need. So it makes the deck.
Justin, so you're an old man when it comes to Flesh and Blood, just like me. But like, you know, I'm living in the past. I'm looking away. I'm like, no, Spinal Crush is still good, and you're just opening my eyes. You're just giving me the reality check.
Dominate with Go Again. That was a good card. That's a good card.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. Shelter, Sink a Sink. They're good cards. Play them.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, I guess any other cards we want to talk about in the deck?
I think that we covered actually all of them, but I do want to cover, like, it kind of goes into your maybe pile, like any. Well, first off, let's talk about your deck. Are there any sleeper picks or underplayed gems that you really like really shouts out? Like for me, it was like the Vigorous blocking card from the Brute that was overvalued that a lot of times. Anything here that really stands out as like, wow, this is really good. Like, if people want to think of.
Hungry for More.
Okay.
Hungry for More is such a powerful card, it being a 1-cost suspense thing, because like you can't think of it as just like a 1-cost sigil, because you got to think of it in context of what happens next or your other like takers, right? So it's a 1-cost heal 3, give a point of value somewhere else, right? Yeah. Which makes it a 1-for-4-ish if you want to like do the math that way, and a 1-for-4 is fine, like that's a good rate.
Yeah.
Or once you have what happens next out, it's just 3+4, right? Or 3+1 for a 4.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like, the card is real strong.
I definitely slept on Hungry for More, man. I think, okay.
Like,
it's Palm is rare for a reason.
Yeah, Palm is obviously powerful.
Yeah.
And like, you can do some pretty disgusting things. Like, into a Syndra, if you see them have an arsenal, I love, like, the second I see a Syndra arsenaling, playing out a Palm, pulling a counter off it. So whenever like they try to go into their 5-card hand turn, I pull the last counter off of Palm, and I can like basically have a defensive power spike to match their 5-card hand.
Now you talk my sweet language, man. The only matchup I lost today was against 2 Syndras. So
yeah, this deck has a solid Syndra matchup. It's not like the best thing ever. I mean, you're playing a Guardian and they're playing Syndra. Like, Syndra's a good deck for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But like, your play patterns dictate a lot of that matchup.
Yeah,
you get a lot of disruption. Like, your armor suite is very, very solid.
Yeah,
I can definitely see this beating the crap out of Syndra.
Yeah.
I guess we talked about like the maybe board. Are there any ones you want to highlight for like you're like, oh, people can definitely think about these cards, like if they think it might be.
We didn't talk about like, this is trying to be like guitar mid-rangey aggro, because not a true aggro deck ever, but like mid-rangey. There is a true fatigue deck with this. There's a guy out in the UK who's really, really good at it. That deck plays only Skullcap. It has Rampart, and it uses Righteous Cleansing to like on its opponents.
Crazy.
And he day 2'd and was like positive win rate on day 2 with it.
Wow.
So like, it is something that is worth looking at.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, are you looking at mine?
I can't pull it up. The fatigue, is this what you're talking about as far as his list?
Yeah, it's iterated from his list. It's like mono Skullcap, because Skullcap, when you go below Verdance, you now have like AB6 on demand, and you're playing 3 Oasis. So like, if they try to ever do like a potion combo on you, like, you're fine. You're just big chilling.
No, that's really cool.
So Gravy, you just like Rampart Fatigue, and you use Righteous Cleansing to mess with their like big stack, like their big stack game plan at the end of the game. And yeah, you can do that kind of stuff, but I don't play that deck. So
your deck's a lot more just like a solid mid-range sort of shell that can go aggro, that can go control if needed, but not a fatigue focus. But
yeah, all of these cards in the maybe board, Dig In is one that was in there for forever. I love Dig In. It's your boots on a card. That's good. Like, but as KO got worse, Dig In came out.
That makes sense.
Other fun cards, Comeback Kid and Concuss. Both of them are really good. They're just you have to like Concuss and both of them are mid-rangey cards. I like Comeback Kid more because it's like we talked about 2-card 8s being strong. And Comeback Kid is a 2-card 8, and it gives you a confidence token on the next turn, which is good.
Comeback Kid's cool. I like Concuss a lot. Like if Boulder Drop Red wasn't a card, I probably would consider Concuss.
Yeah, I'm in on Concuss. Big Concuss is hurt.
Heck yeah, love it. All right, I guess we talked about some of like the maybe boards that you've got here. I guess matchups, like what are some matchups that you're like, oh, this is really good. Pleiades eats this up all day. And maybe what are your matchups where you're like, oh, this is a problem. We can't beat this.
I don't want to see Gravy.
Join the crowd.
Yeah, I don't want to see him.
They got to give Guardians something where you can smack one thing to target the other, like the Warriors have or like the Rangers have, because like that matchup in the Guardian setup is backbreaking, you know. So
well, I know Brian G and James White watch this show fervorously. So
yeah,
listen,
hey, please.
It is winnable. Okay.
Okay.
If you have Rampart, if you commit to the full fatigue package. I don't want to commit to it just to make one matchup really good.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing that. I do like Syndra. That's a good matchup to see. Any of the like true aggro decks, I'm really happy to see. Acilio's a little spooky because like Boulder Drop and CNC are annoying. And in that matchup, you like pedestal back your Boulder Drops and CNCs over and over again. Because like pedestal's just a messed up card. But yeah, those are the matchups. Verdance is supposed to be a really bad matchup. I think it's fine. Like it's okay.
You are the most like I think like back in the day I would always say like Victor was the most like potentially aggressive Guardian because Victor got to play like, you know, hyper defensive block cards that were just so high value that you got to keep a big hand and you got to play like Zealous and stuff. But I feel like Victor has been outclassed by Pleiades. I think Pleiades is just like pretty consistently like can be aggressive while still playing like a good mid-range game.
Yeah, you can. Well, if you have enough confidence generators in your deck, it doesn't matter what cards Verdance presents. You can just like kill her by turn 10.
Yeah.
If she's trying to do potion stuff. If she's trying to like mid-range you back, you got a real game on your hands and you got to like figure out how to finagle a winning game state. But yeah, that's I think the matchup I really don't want to see is Verdance. Is probably just her and Gravy are the two that are rough. KO is rough. OG KO is real rough. He's just like he's a little too much of a stat stick for you as Pleiades.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
So those are the matchups I don't want to see.
Okay. Well, that's pretty extensive. So you kind of mentioned it a little bit in passing, but what's the most Pleiades moment you've had in testing so far? Like, well, like. What is the highlight? If you could take the snapshot in time, what would it be?
What is a moment that made you say, Pleiades nuts? I had to say it at least once.
I'll give you two.
Okay.
Because two nuts. Yeah, there we go. So one of them. Yeah.
Sorry.
There we go. I was doing an RKO matchup where they were up 45-11.
Oh, Jesus.
And I won because I did the Cries loop for 14 turns.
Oh,
14 turns. That is insane.
We kept going, baby, until he ran out of cards because he couldn't do enough actual damage in his deck to kill me.
Jesus.
And I had just enough cards to get there.
And RKO does not mind going to the end state with some of his blues, right? Like, he's pretty strong. Dang.
Yeah, I had to ink it out. It was tough. Like, it was a weird one. So that was not a normal game. That game normally is like a 17-turn game.
Yeah.
That one was like a 30-turn game, and it was one of the weirdest ones I've played. So that one was fun. Big confidence thing is always fun. I think I've had a standing ovation for like 20-something. That's always fun. And that's like the two extremes of the deck, is that it's like sometimes you get to just do the big silly number and hit people really hard. And you kind of get both of those extremes with this deck, and that's really fun.
Yeah. All right. And then how about your elevator pitch for any new players wanting to try out Pleiades? Like, what's your call here?
The core of the deck is insanely cheap and accessible. And you get to play every single play style in like Flesh and Blood. You want to be the beatdown? You can set this thing up to be the beatdown. You want to play 17-turn games? You can play 17-turn games.
Yeah.
She's very, very, very flexible.
Can't
So-
think of a better pitch than that.
That's fantastic. All
Yeah,
right.
like, if you really like cut Tunic, CNC, and Balance of Justice, what are the money cards in this deck?
And honestly, like those cards have good alternatives. Like the Armory Deck chess piece and the Armory Deck helm are extremely good. Like you can replace the two legendary cards with those two.
Mhm.
Like even like CNC, like there's like Fault Line. Fault Line is a crush effect that like
It's
destroys.
serviceable.
Yeah, like that's a good CNC replacement if you're on a budget. So I agree with that. I think like at the moment, I think it is the most budget friendly deck you're gonna get, like with like a reasonable power level.
Yeah, power level per dollar, it's up there. Like it's so strong.
Love it. All right, and where can we follow you at, Justin? I guess we'll start wrapping this up. I guess before we tell us your socials and all that stuff, what did they used to say back in the day? Your stats? I can't remember. Digits? No. What's your? Do you remember this one? Is AOL? Am I speaking
Dude,
my
I was
age?
not online for
Yeah.
AOL. No,
Your
I know what you're
handle?
talking about,
Your-
but I was not online for that.
No, it was like you're like stats.
No,
And it was
you
like
had
Screen name?
You had like it was like a pin or something like that to like hunt
I
somebody.
can't remember.
But that's
It's been
not
too
me.
long. All right, I look young,
Yeah.
guys, but I really am old. So, anyways,
Mhm,
all right.
mhm.
Any
Yes, you look
any
young.
last questions for Justin as we start wrapping this up, guys? Any final thoughts? Any things you want to say?
No, pleasure to have you on, Justin. Deck looks really cool, and I
Yeah.
hope everybody enjoys it. And if you viewer enjoyed it, remember to like, comment, and subscribe for Justin's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do that. Really for me.
Yeah,
I think-
comment your favorite thing about Justin.
Oh no.
There you go. There you go.
Evan, what's your dog's name, real quick?
This is Joda.
For every new subscription we get, Joda gets a belly rub. Do it for the dog. Do it for
Ooh.
Joda. All right, and do it for Justin. Do it for Jay and Jay. Anyways, did I take it too far, guys? I usually
Family
do.
company? Wait, what?
You didn't take it too far. I'm just like, okay.
All right.
Sure.
So, Justin, where can we find you at?
I recently deleted all my socials, but I am on Discord still. It's Jebs05.
Okay. And you can find, I guess, Tunic Counter Gamers at midnight_WI11. They won't answer, but I sure will. And remember, as we wrap up, it's time to jam and play these cards at your armory. Hey, yo. Anyways, thanks, Justin, again for coming on. As always, keep in mind, every turn is a decision. Every decision is a story. And don't forget your damn Tunic Counter at your armory. Hey, yo.
And draw swords.
Anyways,
I love it.
as
I
always,
love it.
keep in mind, every turn is a